Because whether you like them, woo, or you don't, they are the best thing, woo, in the football world today. Woo!
Thanks for tuning back into Booty Picks, the weekly college pick'em show where all the picks are ass. My name is Doug Dickey, the host of the show, and with me as always are Champ Brantley Jr. and Mac Murphy. This is the show where they do their best each week to gamble their way to financial freedom, and it comes out with a lot of failure. Our records keeper fell asleep during the show last week, so I don't have any information on whether or not they did well in their picks. We got a little bit too sauced at the tailgate to remember who picked what while the games were being played. We just know that it was pretty exciting. So in the words of Will Muschamp, that's on me. We'll get it fixed this week. Like I said, week one was an awesome display of college football and everything we love about it. So this season figures to be wild. How do you guys feel about going into week two?
I feel great. I went 6-3-1. I kept tally of mine. My record last week. I can't say the same for Champ, but Mac Murphy feels pretty good. Again, this week could change. I hopefully I have the same energy next week and feeling just as good, but we'll see.
Yeah, I went 7-7 in my pool picks. I don't know how I did on the picks I had on the show, but yeah, when the rubber met the road, I was actually playing my dad this week, and I think he actually beat me by one pick, so that was pretty humiliating. But yeah, a new week, new me.
You can't, the old men are wise in their ways. They just know so much. They've been around the block a few times. They know what to do.
Not this guy.
Well, yeah. Well, I was just trying to make you feel a little bit better, but
yeah.
I guess I'm a bad liar. Anyway, we'll roll right into our picks for Saturday, starting at 12 p.m. Number 1, Alabama taking on the Texas Longhorns in Austin. Alabama is giving 20 points to Texas, and the over-under is 64.5 points. This is on Fox. Go ahead and start us off here, Mac.
Yeah, so this is a tough one. 20 points against a Power 5 team is a lot. I talked myself off the ledge last week, not taking Georgia at 17.5, which they covered times. They almost tripled that cover. So this week, I think, 20 points is still a shit pile.
On the road.
Yeah, I don't think Texas
in
that stadium
environment of Austin.
That Alabama.
They have the vagina tunnel now.
Alabama plays. What other road games Alabama have? And I bet you I can find 4 other better, tougher venues than.
Oh yeah, well yeah, they play LSU and Auburn every year. I mean, yeah,
they're at Tennessee this year.
And that's Texas A&M.
They're at Tennessee this year. That's a tougher venue than a wilder venue. They're at LSU, much wilder. I would argue their other road games, they have Mississippi at Ole Miss. Arkansas, I don't know where they're playing. If they're playing in Fayetteville for that one, I like
Arkansas to be a tougher place. But if they're playing at Little Rock sucks.
Do they still play at Little Rock?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Texas is not a hostile environment. They're going to be fine. I like Alabama to cover the 20 points. I don't think Texas is good at all. I think Texas is going to go 7-5 or 6-6 this year. They're a year away. They've got a real young team. Again, not sold on them. So there we go.
Yeah, betting against Bama is a good way to lose money, and that's kind of the energy I'm taking in. Texas is kind of my stepdaughter team. I lived in Austin for a couple of years, so I like Texas. been to several Texas games at DKR. They were fun. Obviously, I grew up going into the swamp, so it's not even close to being the same. But it is cool. They have the that big vagina-looking tunnel that they're going to run out this year. It's actually a longhorn, but it just looks more like fallopian tubes. Yeah, I think Bama's going to probably go in and beat the hell out of them. Quinn Ewers, he went 16 and 24 for 225 last week. And Bijan Robinson, who's probably the best player on their team, he had 10 carries for 71 against UL Monroe. But I still think that they're just not going to. They don't have the players. And also, you have the Saban assistant factor coming in. Kirby Smart's first assistant or former Saban assistant to beat Saban, and I don't think that he's too keen on having it happen within 3 games of each other. So I like Bama to blow them out.
All right. So that's the first noon game there. The next game up will be Mizzou at Kansas State. Neither of these teams are ranked. Kansas State giving 8 points. Over under is 57, and this is on ESPN2. So I think this game will actually start at 11 a.m. Central Time. Your turn this time, champ.
Yeah, so this is a pretty dog shit game. Mizzou, I mean they're one of the least consistent teams year over year. Kansas State is Snyder's not coaching there anymore, is he?
No.
No, I know he unretired at one point, but let's see. Mizzou beat La Tech last week. K State beat South Dakota. Neither one of those wins are going to tell you very much. It's kind of a crapshoot, old school Big 12. But unfortunately, we do not have Blaine Gabbert at Mizzou anymore. So I think,
Or Colin Klein at Kansas State.
Yep. But I do like the 8 points with Mizzou. I think that's probably a little bit too much for Kansas to cover, and it's kind of a funky line. Maybe Kansas by a touchdown, but I'm not. I'm gonna take the 8 points in Mizzou.
So I'm high on Kansas State this year. I think I have them 8-4, 9-3 on
They
my
got
chart.
Adrian Martinez from Nebraska.
Jesus Christ. I keep that's one of the ones like he was a quarterback when they won the national title in 95. Like that
That was his brother.
yeah.
Is that the guy that
Oh,
Gus Johnson is always like, Martinez? That's the quarterback we're talking about here?
Yeah, probably. I mean, he is usually on the Nebraska call. So
I like Kansas State -8 in this one. I don't think Mizzou is good. I think Kansas State is going to be good. So that's really my.
why are you high on them?
Because they had like the 4th highest odds to win the Big 12. So, and the Big 12's a crapshoot. So, I am just. I hold on. Let me.
Yeah, I can still
Let me check because I might. I don't think I picked Missouri to win this game, but let me double check because if I did, yeah, I have Missouri down for an L on this one. I have Missouri going 4-8, and I have Kansas State going 9-3. So I am going to go with my gut. I did relatively well straight up last week. I think I didn't tally it all, but I had way more wins than losses on my straight up helmet schedule. So yeah, I'm going to go with. So I haven't abandoned ship on the chart yet, so I'm going to go with Mizzou or Kansas State to cover.
All right.
I hate the pick. It will not be on my real card. Just a forewarning.
Just for the sake of the show, it's all fake here. It's a woozy. It's a wazi. It doesn't fucking exist.
Fugazi.
Okay, so moving right along, we've got South Carolina at number 16, Arkansas, and Arkansas is giving 7.5. This is on ESPN at noon. Baffling that the SEC Nation show chose to go to Vandy for the Wake Forest game instead of South Carolina. and Arkansas or Kentucky and Florida. But hey, I am not the marketing guy there. So anyway, South Carolina at number 16 Arkansas. Arkansas giving 7.5 points.
I'll start it off. I think Spencer Rattler sucks. I don't think he's a good quarterback. Um, I'll just say it as frankly as I can. Threw 2 interceptions against Georgia State. That score 35-14, they took 2 punts to the house, 2 blocked punts to the house. So let's take away those, and their offense scored 21 points. Their offense sucks. I think Arkansas is a good football team. They're not a great football team. The Cincinnati team they beat was disciplined, well coached team. I don't think they're a great. It's not last year's Cincinnati team, but I think KJ Jefferson is clearly the better quarterback in this game. I see now we do have an over under 53. I wouldn't be surprised if this is under 53, because I think USC can play decent defense, and Arkansas isn't going to try to score super fast. That's not their style. So I like Arkansas to win by 2 scores in this game, and I also like under 53.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think Arkansas is going to have no issues. USC sucks. They were 13 of 14 on third down, and it was 14-12 Georgia State in the third quarter, followed by those 2. What were they? Were they interception returns or kickoff returns?
Block punts.
Block punts, yeah. So yeah, you take that away, they only got 1 more. Spencer Rattler, yeah, I agree, he sucks. Their O line couldn't stop anybody. They couldn't get any push in the run game. Meanwhile, Arkansas arguably had the best win of week 1. KJ Jefferson, like you touched on, he seems to be the truth, and he also had a jump pass. So how could you not go with Arkansas this week? I think they're going to probably roll them.
All right, and you're not taking the over under.
No, I don't want to touch the over under because I think honestly, USC is going to have a tough time scoring. So I don't know if
That's why I have the under
on their own. Yeah,
that's why the under. I think South Carolina will score 14 and Arkansas 31 or something like that. I think it'll be a 31-14, 31-17 type game, somewhere around there.
Could be. I don't want it though.
Pussy. All right, moving on to the 3:30 games. We got App State, who put on an electrifying performance in Boone with UNC at home. Was just an awesome game to watch. Very sad that they could not pull that one out. But they this week travel to Kyle Field at number 6, Texas A&M. Texas A&M will be giving 18 points. The over-under here is 54, and that's on ESPN. Champ, you take us with this one.
I love App State here. I think they're catching way too many points, and Texas A&M can't score. So I think that App State's going to have maybe an opportunity to win the game, but I think through 3 quarters they might be able to keep it close. So I think 18 is way too many. Texas A&M, their quarterback last week kind of sucked, Haynes King, and I don't think he's the truth at all. He played kind of shitty. So I like App State. I liked everything that they did last week. They can't stop anybody either, but it might be an over game too. We'll see. I don't know how I quite feel about the over, but it is pretty low. So yeah, I'll do over 54 and App State with the points.
Mac, what do you got?
Yeah, my only play here is over 54. I don't like 18 points. Like I could see Texas A&M scoring 40 on them and App State just getting bullied because it's just a different world out there. It's a road game. They were home last week against UNC. So we have a different, it's like apples to oranges if you try to compare last week, and UNC has a abysmal defense. Gene Chizik is their defensive coordinator. We know how that plays out. So I do like the over because App State is going to give up points, and Texas A&M has some stud athletes. I think they're just going to. I think two of the passing touchdowns that Haynes King threw were like deep balls. I think you're going to see a couple of those. I think you're going to see some home runs. I think Texas A&M alone has the capability to get to. And that was a weird game. Had a 3-hour rain delay in the middle of it, so I don't think that's a true indictment of their offense. I think they're going to try to right the ship this week. I think they'll be able to score 38, maybe 40 on their own. And I think App State will be able to muster up 20 points or so, or 2 or 3 scores to get us over that 54 hump. I like over 54 in that game. The 18 points scares me. I could see it going both ways, but I think bouncing back from that heartbreaking of a loss last week for App State to travel to College Station. If I had to pick one or the other, I'd lean to A&M, but I don't like it, so I'm just going to go over 54.
All right. Next 3:30 game up will be number 24 Tennessee at number 17 Pitt. Tennessee is giving 6.5 points here, and the over/under is 65.5. This one's on ABC. Champ, you take us again.
Yeah, this one's tough. It's too many points to pick the over, but Tennessee played really well in their first game, and Pitt can score 2, so I don't want to pick the under. I don't know. I kind of like Pitt and the points. They're catching points at home, so that would be my play. But this one's probably not gonna get picked in reality. Yeah, I say Pitt plus 6.5.
I think 65.5 is a lot of points, but I think these teams will be able to score a lot of points. I think Tennessee is going to allow a lot. Pitt showed they started out really slow, and they scored. I think it was 21 or 24 in the second half last week against West Virginia. So I think they got a rhythm, and I think they'll continue that rhythm. And Tennessee is going to put up a lot of points this season. They're going to do what they did last year. So I could see this one being. I think it's going to go over 65.5. I really do. I'm on that. I think it's going to be a 45, 30 some odd game. Like that's what we're going to see. It may not be close, but I have Tennessee winning. I'm not going to pick that, but over 65.5 is my pick.
Another over. All right, at 4 p.m., the number 25 ranked Houston will travel to Texas Tech. Texas Tech giving 2.5 points. Over under again is 65.5. That sounds about right for this type of game. As a note, Shasta is still deceased. Their Cougar mascot. And as we advised you last week, you do not pick against the Cougar mascot or dead mascots. That's just a bad idea. So, With that in mind, take us away, Mac.
Yeah, I did not pick against Houston last week simply because of that. And because of not covering in honor of Shasta last week, Houston is dead to me. I have Texas Tech minus 2.5 in this game.
Holy shit. Damn, that's fucked up. They did win for Shasta, but they I don't know if it went over. It was 37-35, so it must have went over. And that's what I'm doing this game. I mean, these are two programs that eat overs for breakfast. So even though Houston didn't play amazing last week in terms of, or they only scored 27 in regulation, but I think that this is going to be a shootout, classic Texas Tech kind of bullshit game where they just don't stop anybody and they score a ton of points. So that's what I like. I like the over. It's gonna be a fun one.
Next one's a interesting one to pick here, simply because one of the teams won 7-3, but did not score a touchdown in their game in week 1, and I'm talking about the Iowa Hawkeyes. probably the most incredible stat ever. It's like the first time since 1981 that a team has done that. Just absolutely bonkers. Set football back 30,000 years, and it's super impressive that it happened. That being said,
They also had a 6-4 game versus Penn State in 04, which is
crazy.
pretty crazy.
What are we doing here? Like I don't want to get on this high horse and take away from what the show is supposed to be, but everybody was all over Florida when they played, or Florida and Miami when they played in that week 0 game at Camping World Stadium a few years ago. That, oh, you set college football back. Was it an ugly game? Yeah, but it was like 24-21. Why are we complaining about that when you've got teams barely scoring double-digit points combined? This is crazy. Anyhow, that being said, Iowa State giving 3.5 points at Iowa, probably because Iowa can't score, I would think. And the over-under will be 41. This is on the Big Ten Network. Nobody even cares enough to put it on a channel that everybody has. That's how booty this game is. Champ, take us away.
Yeah, this is a tough one every single year. I mean, this is a big rivalry game. I don't know what the last couple meetings have looked like, but I feel like Iowa is normally the one that comes out on top. I mean, after 7-3 versus South Dakota State with no touchdowns, what are we even supposed to do here? The under is such bait, but these teams when they get together, they'll score a lot of points. So I want to stay away from the over under. I think Iowa's going to win the football game. They have the second longest tenured coach in the FBS behind Whittingham, and I like Iowa to cover the 3.5.
Go ahead, Mac.
Yeah, this one is
Tricky.
It's very tricky. Let me go to my chart and just see what I got here. I have Iowa State losing it. So and
Iowa's a dog at home.
Yeah, I like Iowa 3.5. I think it's. I'm not going to touch over under 41 because they could score 9 points this week, but I like Iowa to cover at home. I have them going 8-4, and I think I had Iowa State going. I have Iowa State going.
Iowa State lost their quarterback and their running back they've had the past couple of years, Purdy and
Hall. Right.
Hall.
I have them going. I have Iowa State going 5-7. So on the season, I'm going to stick with my straight up pick. I like Iowa to win. I got to stick with the charts. That's what my gut's telling me. Iowa plus 3.5. Terrible pick.
Do they still have Matt Campbell as a head coach?
Yes.
He's not been picked up by anybody. He's always on the coaching carousel talk and still there.
Yeah, if you look at him though, he hasn't been impressive the past few years.
That's interesting.
He had the best running back and quarterback in school history, and managed, I think, to his best season was, they went 9-3, 7-6, and so 7-6.
Non-factor. They're a non-factor in the Big 12. I don't get why. I think that that's a wide open conference every year, and they can't do shit.
2020, they had a good season. The COVID year, they were pretty good. They won the Big 12, but they still. What did they do? Did they win the? Yeah, they did, because Oklahoma was a runner-up in that conference and played Florida. But their 21 season, they just left they were really hyped. I think he's a good coach, not great. He fits the mold there. He's not an elite recruiter, but he's good enough there to win. He's kind of like Mark Stoops of the Big 12.
Makes sense. 7:30, moving into the nighttime games. The first one up will be Arizona State the Fighting Herm Edwards. At number 11, Oklahoma State taking on the Mullet. Oklahoma State giving 10.5. The over-under here is 57.5 on ESPN2. Mac, how do you feel about this one?
I don't like this one either. 10.5 is a lot. Arizona State had a lot of off-season turmoil. They didn't look bad last week. Our boy Emory Jones is down there. Oklahoma State looked great in the first half, but then struggled in the second half. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored, though, so I'm going to go over 57.5 in this one.
Yep, I think that's a good play. I think that Oak State is going to beat the shit out of them probably, but I think it goes over. Last week, Oak State played Central Michigan, and the score was 58-44, and they allowed 546 yards from the Chippewas. I don't think Arizona State is going to show up and do that, just based on the fact that they're not really that kind of team. Emory Jones did play okay last year. He had about 200 yards of total offense and 2 touchdowns. But yeah, I think I would lean Oak State 10.5, but I think the over is for sure going to hit. Definitely over 57.5. Spencer Sanders is still at Oak State, and he went off last week. He had 28 receptions for 406 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then 11 carries for 57 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't know how we didn't hear about that, but that's one of the better performances in week 1. So, yeah, I like all that spells over to me.
Number 10. Next up, number 10, University of Southern California Trojans at Stanford. USC giving 8.5 here, and the over-under is 66.5 on this one's on Fox. Champ, take us away.
Yeah, I don't get why the over is so high. 66.5 seems fairly insurmountable. So I would lean under. I might actually take the under. Yeah, I'm going to go under. And I think USC is going to blow them out of the water. I think Caleb Williams, pretty good quarterback. Stanford is Stanford. They have been the same since basically McCaffrey left. So yeah, I think USC minus 8.5, and I'm taking under 66.5.
I like USC to cover this with ease. I don't think Stanford's good. I have USC as one of my playoff picks. I'm high on them, so therefore I'm going to go USC by a lot. 8.5 is not a lot, so let's go USC.
Stanford went 2-7 in 21. Wait, is that right? 2-7? No, that can't be right.
That would only be
Maybe
9
in
games.
Conference.
Probably,
in conference.
Yeah. Okay, starting with the late night games. This is kind of a weird one. Number 9, Baylor. It's the battle of religion. Number 9, Baylor at number 21, BYU. And BYU giving the points here. It's minus 3.5, and the over-under is 53.5. This one's on ESPN at 10:15. Mac, what do you feel?
Yeah, let me go to the chart because I can't remember who I picked in this game. I know I have oh shit! I did a W/L on BYU in this game, so I need to.
What does that mean?
I don't know. That's okay. I have Baylor losing this game, but winning or going to the Big 12 championship. I have them losing at BYU. I think it's tough. I think BYU is good. I think Baylor's good. I think this is going to be a great game. That's going to be. It's going to be a close. It's going to be a close one. I'm going to lean. Here's what I'm going to do. I went against myself a couple times on the line. I'm not going to pick Baylor straight up, but I'm going to pick Baylor plus 3.5. And I'm going to hope that they lose by 1 so I can be right both ways. Because I had, like West Virginia Pitt, I had Pitt winning that game. But yes, last week I picked West Virginia to cover.
They did cover.
And they did. So I was right on both my gambling and on the charts. So this is going to be that one pick of the week where I'm right on the charts and on the line without picking both, but picking the winners correctly. I like BYU to win, Baylor to cover.
Getting greedy. Yeah, I think that Baylor's going to cover the 3.5. I think they could win the game. I don't really know why they're giving points. Um, it's the battle of the Colts, Waco versus the Mormons. Yeah, I think Baylor's the pick though for sure. I don't know BYU. They ought to be pretty good, but I think I mean Baylor's the defending Big 12 champs. They looked great last year, so I'm riding with Dave Aranda and the Bears, Baylor Bears.
Yeah, it is odd, especially if I can only assume that BYU's crowd is as quiet as Utah's fans are. I don't really understand. It can't be that hostile of environment. It's just an odd situation there. Then up at 11 p.m., Mississippi traveling out west to play at Arizona. Mississippi giving 11 points here, and the over under is 59. This one's on FS1. And Champ, you can take us first.
Yeah, so Mississippi State, they put up a ton of points last week, as we kind of expected. Mike Leach is in, I think, his third year in the program. And the air raid's really coming along, at least against non conference teams. So I think, and Arizona is bad. So I think that I like Mississippi and -11. I don't know if I want to touch the over under because I don't know how many points Arizona can score. They scored 38 last week against San Diego State, which is not bad for them. But I think Mississippi State is going. And Will Rogers had a hell of a game too. He had 38 receptions for 450 yards, 5 touchdowns. I expect him to repeat that kind of performance at Arizona. And Mike Leach is also pretty familiar with Arizona, having been the former coach at Wazoo. So, yeah, all that to me spells ass whipping in Tempe. Are they in Tempe? Where's Arizona at? I don't know. In Arizona, there's going to be
It's
an
on
ass
the.
whipping.
It's near the West Coast. That's all I know.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, there's Miss State big.
Mac, go ahead with your pick.
I like Mississippi State as well, big. I think Arizona is trash as well, even though I picked them to lose outright to San Diego State last week. They proved me wrong. I don't know who their coach is. It's not Kevin Sumlin anymore. I like Mississippi State -11. We're just gonna ride with that. I unfortunately have Mississippi State at 5-7, but I've talked to some people at the game Saturday. They're like, "Oh, Mississippi State's gonna be really good," and they brought back this guy, this guy, this guy. They have the most returning production of any team in the SEC. They're gonna be better than Ole Miss. They're gonna be better than LSU and Auburn and all this. And I'm like, fuck. I didn't really
Too
do
much.
much. I didn't do much research on them because I have them at 5-7. And so, yeah, but I'm going to take their advice and get a win in when I can and go -11 Mississippi State.
Up next is some fade on site picks. These are the ones that you want to avoid immediately. Our resident pickers here are just experts on this stuff, making good decisions with their money. So, Champ, you've got two here. What should our listeners fade on site?
Yeah, so the two stinkers in this on this board, we didn't talk about this game, but Fresno, Oregon State. This is definitely one of those ones you want to stay away from. I have Fresno +1, so I guess that's just a pick 'em. But you would think Fresno's going to win, but who knows? And then the one that we did pick earlier, Mizzou K State. I had Mizzou +8. I mean, I'm definitely going to get that wrong either way I go. So pick the opposite of me if you value your money. I clearly do not.
Mac, anything?
Yeah.
Sticking out to you.
Virginia, Illinois. Illinois is a 4.5-point favorite. That's a shitty pick if I've ever seen one. I don't know which way to go with that. Virginia played Richmond 34-17. Illinois shit the bed late against Indiana. yeah, you could go either way on that one, and you're probably going to be wrong. So don't pick that game. I'm not picking that game. I'll also throw my Iowa State pick in there at three. Iowa plus 3.5. That's
a toxic one.
Yeah, that one's gonna suck. That one's gonna suck.
Well, this is an interesting development here because where you say that nobody should pick the Virginia at Illinois game, there's
It's actually my lock of the week. I think Virginia, Illinois under 57. There is no fucking way that they're going to score 57 points in this game. They wear the same uniforms too, which is pretty cute. But I don't think Burt Ball and a Bronkless Virginia is going to amount to nearly 60 points. That's one of my locks. My soft lock of the week is Duke versus Northwestern under 54. The Nerd Bowl, Northwestern is giving 10.5 in that game, which is also insane. But it's not that insane considering they're playing Duke, who stinks. But under 54, that just feels like free money to me. So that's my soft lock. And my lock is Virginia, Illinois.
Mac, you got any locks for us?
Yes, I have one lock. I said earlier my picks: Pitt, Tennessee over 65.5. I think they're both going to score 30 plus and get us there. I do have a late parlay I would like to add in here if you all would be so much be obliged.
It's my favorite part of the show. Part of the show.
Yeah.
So bear with me. This was created on the fly. This is the you suck parlay, and I'm picking against the U teams here. So our first one, let me scroll down. We have UMass. Hold on, let me find them. They are a 20 some odd point dog. Come on, where are you at, UMass? They're independent, right? Sorry, this is terrible radio. UMass Toledo. Toledo is a 28.5 point favorite. Toledo is going to beat them by 40. I like Toledo 28.5 over UMass. UMass is 0-1. They lost to Tulane 42-10 last week. Toledo, I don't know who LIU is, but they beat LIU 37-0. So I don't think UMass might score 7 points, and Toledo's going to score at least 38. Then UConn, you suck. Syracuse is a 22.5 point favorite over UConn. UConn sucks. They are 2-0 against the spread, but they lost to Utah State 2 weeks ago, 31-20. And Syracuse beat Louisville, who I was actually high on this year, 31-7. So maybe I should be high on Syracuse and not high on Louisville. So we'll put Syracuse as minus 22.5. And I've got one more U team. And they don't suck. They actually gave UTSA gave Houston a tough run for their money. But I like they are a 2-point favorite over Army. We'll go with Army plus 2. Army lost to Coastal Carolina, who has a pretty good quarterback. Last week they lost to them 38-28, but that's not a slouch of a loss. Houston, UTSA also gave Houston all they could handle. So we will go with Army plus 2 in that one, and again Syracuse 20 plus or minus 22.5, and Toledo minus 28.5 over UMass. So your teams that you suck: UMass, UTSA, and UConn. You all suck.
Perhaps a late ad also is San Diego State. I think they're catching like 22 against Auburn. I don't know that Auburn's going to be able to beat them by that much. Especially, yeah, I think that might make it on the card. We'll see though.
I like that one. Add it to my card.
All right, well, there you have it. More booty picks from the boys for the boys. Champ and Mac will look to improve this week on their pick records from last week. Will they get more cash flow, break even, or lose even more money in week 2? Tune in to week 3's episode of Booty Picks next Thursday to find out. So long, go get your